Opie and Anthony live. Here's your host, Sam Roberts.
Yeah. It's after O&A Live. David Blaine is here. David Blaine's on his way in. He's got a new special. It's called Real or Magic, and it airs tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ABC. It's like his street magic, except he's doing it with all kinds of celebrities. It actually looks really good. He was out in the hall, and he remembered me from asking him stupid questions when he was upside down. He was like, "Hey, man, we met when I was upside down." I was like, yeah, dude. We're about to talk again. Here he comes in here right now. David Blaine has just walked in. You have a great memory.
That's not true, but
You don't think you have a good memory?
I think it's affected from so many breath holds at this point.
Well, you came in. I'm sure you don't remember my name. I'm Sam Roberts.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, but you remembered me specifically when you were walking in the hall. You said, "Yeah, I met you when I was upside down." So what now?
But it's not. You're also not hard to remember. That's for sure.
You think that is it? The hair?
Yeah, I think you definitely are. You don't. I would never forget you. That's for sure.
That's good to know. That makes me feel warm. That makes me feel special too. You have this great. I'm really excited about the special because I feel like you're at your best when you're just doing the sleight of hand, close up magic tricks.
Thank you for saying that.
You know, so tonight at 9:30 p.m.
Yeah.
On ABC. It's called Real or Magic, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing your tricks that you've done on the street, but for celebrities.
And on the street. So for all different cross sections. So I spent years shooting this. So it's, anybody that, like, if I'd seen you, I would have gotten you for sure. Like, and anybody that I found intriguing or I kind of targeted.
You find me intriguing?
Yeah, I would have definitely hounded you on the street.
Well, it's amazing because of the people that you got. You got like Woody Allen.
He was incredible.
You got Kanye West.
He was awesome.
Did I hear you got George W. Bush?
I did, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How do you get these people?
It was years of working, and I would meet people when I was doing private gigs, whether it was President Bush or Kanye, and I'd run this idea of doing something with them, and I just kind of casually worked it out over the years. So it's taken me, this is probably, I'm not kidding when I say this, probably 7 years in the making for this one show. Yeah.
And I would imagine, though, that it's probably easier to get a celebrity to agree to be on this special than most other specials.
Well, no, because I think because part of it was I wanted it to be natural and believable and real, and I didn't want it to feel artificial. So I had to figure out a way to get to everybody almost so they weren't prepared, really. So that, there was no crew. It was me plus Matthew and a very small crew. He did The Artist is Present, the Marina Abramovich documentary, and I knew that he has a very subtle way of shooting where he almost becomes invisible.
Oh, so this was not like, hey, we're shooting something. Let me find you and we'll set up and we'll do the lighting.
There was none of that. There was, everybody on the show. There was like no stooges, no setups, no. Nobody was paid to be on the show. It was just literally just trying to pursue people in very natural environments and then try to do something shocking.
So where do you naturally find, like, George W. Bush?
Well, I was on a gig with him in China. So
and so you have this idea in your head.
Right. So I had a little camera, and what I did is I nailed all the Secret Service guys in the morning because I knew they were going to get breakfast there, and I did magic to all of them. So when it came time to do magic to President Bush, they were prepared for it, so it was very easy.
So you're not reaching into your pockets and they're like, down on the ground.
No, that's right. But it's even better than that because I made them so used to it. It's like with him, you see me grabbing him and doing all this stuff that you should not do to a president, and you'll see the result tonight.
That's good. And I saw, and you've kind of gotten clips out there. Katy Perry's on the show. Yeah. Was there anybody that, like, you were a fan of?
Yeah,
you were nervous to do this in front of?
Well, everybody on my show, every single person on my show, I was a really big fan of. I actually really like and admire and respect every single person.
You do?
Yeah, but like I said, I think everything, the whole point of I think doing magic is it has to be very natural and honest, or else you won't get real reactions. And the one thing I was sensitive to, which, like I said, this is the years of is how to get everybody to be comfortable enough that they can react. So
is it tougher to get that out of celebrities? Because celebrities kind of spend their lives trying to be cool.
It's right. Well, it's not even trying to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's that we're so used to being guarded because we're so worried about, looking bad or idiotic. So that was a big part of figuring this out. And it took me, like I said, years to figure it out, but I figured out a way to kind of do things in a natural way and in people's natural environments. And there was no lights. There was no setup. It was like we just walked in. I didn't have any props. So I had like a deck of cards, an ice pick, a needle, and some kerosene. And that's kind of the making of an entire show.
Yeah. Now, you invent all your tricks now, right?
Well, I also have a team of great magicians that come up with these amazing ideas, or I see things historically that I want to do, like the guy that drinks the kerosene and then becomes a human dragon and blows it out. And the only way to figure that one out is I had to travel to Africa to find the secrets from one man in the world or one or two that could do it. So that's on the show.
You're not Wikipediaing.
Well,
you're not looking up on Wikipedia, how do you blow fireballs? Oh, I could do that.
No, because what was interesting to me about the guy that did it is he drinks the kerosene, so it's in his stomach. And then he becomes like a human dragon. So that, to me, that was like the cool. We've seen people do the fireballs, and I've always thought that was cool looking. But I was curious about how could this guy do it. And then in research, you find out that he died 2 years after he started, and that's what killed him. But so that's been like a 20-year quest to try to figure out how to do that.
And so what's your strategy? Just do it much less often than that guy did?
Well,
so you don't die in 2 years?
That's basically the strategy. Yes.
Yeah.
That is the strategy.
Because that's what you did on Jimmy Kimmel.
Right. And what you're saying is exactly my strategy so far. But the other thing is, I don't think he had charcoal pills to rinse out and things like that. So I use charcoal to hopefully absorb as much of the kerosene and then get it out of the system as quickly as I can.
And you have to drink gallons of water before you do it?
Like a gallon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you go further than a gallon, you're pretty much risking death.
Well, you wouldn't want to do that before you drink kerosene, would you?
No, you need the water at the bottom of the stomach.
I mean, risking death.
Oh.
What was you kind of gained even more notoriety for the elaborate tricks and stunts like that? What was the most difficult? Was it, we met when you were upside down in Central Park?
That one was a nightmare. That was everything that could go wrong went wrong. That was part of the reason I had to pull away from everything and rethink everything, because it was so much layered in that I hadn't prepared for. So, did
you know that you were going to have to take breaks? Because I would imagine that it's kind of a pain in the ass to then have.
Here's what happened on that one. We didn't have very much time to put it together. It was done quick, but at this point I was kind of cocky. I was like, okay, I can do this. Sure.
What did you just come from? Like, what was the trick before that?
Oh yeah, I had done the breath hold. I had done the water tank.
So I felt feeling good.
Yeah, I felt like I can. I think I just done Oprah, and I did the world record on this thing, and I was like, okay, I got this. So my preparation for the upside down thing was literally I hung upside down on somebody's weight rack with those gravity boots on. And I did 6 hours, and I was like, okay, I know I can do 64 hours. We're all good.
That's it.
That was basically it. So, but I had done like 4-hour stunts and of it. But then when I did 6, but what I never accounted for was the catheter doesn't work when you're upside down. It's a nightmare. So when you're upside down, forget all the blood.
Because you could hold it in for 6 hours.
Right.
Yes.
And I didn't so, and anyway, that was the beginning of the worst, thing. So that's what made me stop everything, rethink, and try to figure out how to do something that wouldn't be so embarrassing and ridiculous.
And then the end got messed up too. Now, are you?
Oh, it was so awful.
Right, because everybody goes, "What did we just see? I thought this was supposed to be spectacular."
Yeah, it was crazy.
Are you the type of person who, you see this vision of this trick that you want to pull off? And do you freak out when little things go wrong? Are you detail-oriented?
Oh, terrible. And I'm so superstitious at the same time. So it's like, if everything isn't perfectly in place, I start to really I start to think everything is going to fail. So it's
so psychologically you're off your game. Once you have to start taking breaks.
And then and then it's like, I need to knock on wood left and right, and this is going. So yeah, it starts to really compound itself. Yeah.
And then what about when you were in the box above the Thames River?
That was one of my favorite ones of all time.
Did you want when people start throwing shit at the box?
I got so lucky that they did that. We had a plan that was like, I told all my friends that were around me before, I was like, how are we going to get people to actually pay attention to this? It's so boring. I'm just sitting in a box, not eating for And I said,
And
you
for
guys,
how long was it?
It was 44 days.
So that's a long time to hold somebody's attention
right,
span.
sitting in, but I was like, you guys better be prepared to do something, like, shoot at the thing or do something crazy. And then sure enough, the media went nuts on it, and they would send people every day to do insane things, which definitely were huge distractions. So it took time away from it for me. And then all of those stories became like the worldwide news. The funny part about that stunt is like, the majority of it was really boring. It was just like people that were there supporting it.
Yeah.
So it's like the only interesting part was when something went wrong.
See, I figured that you'd be in your box going, I'm doing this to entertain you. Why would you throw things at me? But you like when somebody like me comes along and asks goofy questions while you're hanging upside down.
Yeah, of course.
Whatever you can do to stir
Anything
things
to
up.
distract me is good. Yeah.
Are you dumbfounded? Because I was reading an article last night about criticisms of you. And one of the criticisms was, he said he would break the record for holding his breath or die trying, and he didn't die. Are you sitting there going like, are you mad that I'm alive right now?
No, well, to be honest, that's part of the intrigue, I think. I think that's why people went to see Evil Knievel's. Even though they were rooting for him, they kind of wanted to see the crash.
Of course,
I think there's something about human nature that drives you towards wanting to be there if something goes wrong.
Do you know when you're doing street magic, which audiences to go to? Like, do you know by now, like, for whatever reason, black people go fucking crazy for magic?
Well, I have to be honest. It's very specific. It's like, you go after lots of people, and you might think that they're going to have great reactions, and their reactions might be internalized, and sometimes that's just as good. So it's not like you can't really generalize that much. So you can't say, well, this group of people are Puerto Ricans or Asians or Jews. It doesn't work that way. It's like you could and that's where I came up with the idea for street magic. And I'll tell you how it happened. I was 18 years old, and I was hired by I was doing magic for Diane von Furstenberg's house as a kid, and her son Alex von Furstenberg. I was doing magic to him, and his reactions were amazing. And even though I act like I'm not responding when people are reacting, I stay pretty stone-faced. I'm like jumping inside. That's like, that's what you thrive off of.
Yeah.
Like when you do something, the audience reacts. So, and then I got in trouble for something. So I ended up spending the weekend in central booking. And the first thing I did was grab the deck of cards off the floor from the big guys playing spades. And I started doing magic to them. And they all started jumping around, going nuts. And I was like, wow, this reaction is the same as this. And it's just like one is jail. The other is like a really amazing house that I have never been to anything. And I was like, that's what the show is. I want to show the common thread between all different people from all walks of life. And that was the goal with street magic.
Have you ever blown it in the middle of a trick? Like to somebody, no, I just saw you put the card right in the right place at the deck.
Well, the cool thing about being a magician is nobody knows where you're going with it. So even if they think they see something, if you can just play like they didn't, it doesn't matter because they don't know.
So you have to be able to be like, okay, I messed that part up. But
I think that's why magicians get uncomfortable performing for magicians, because magicians do know when you messed up.
Like Penn Jillette will be there and be like, no, Dave, that's not how that trick goes at all.
I'm sure he's there every day doing that.
But there's never
any chance he gets.
There's never been a moment where the trick has gone wrong?
I think that the big moment was one we discussed. Yeah.
Except that big one.
Yeah, I think that
There's never been one of the small time ones where it's like you drop the deck of cards or something and it's just, you panic.
No, but I think you can make it look like it was part of the trick.
Yeah. When did you figure out how to get girls doing magic? Because I feel like you were the first, sexy magician.
Well,
and that's, as a heterosexual man, I feel confident in saying that.
No, it's funny because as a kid, I wouldn't do magic to people my age. I only did it to my mother's friends. I kept it very secretive because as a kid or a teenager, you're doing magic, you're a big geek and you get beat up. It's a nerdy thing
for kids to do.
Yeah. So you're getting a lot of, so I basically, other than a few close friends, kept it very secretive and just worked on it and did things. And then as I started to do it more and more when I got older and then started to use it as a living, I started to get really, it became really amazing to see just all different reactions.
And do you think it was because of the street magic that people saw, okay, he's doing this, but look at all these different people reacting. This is not a nerdy thing.
I still think they think it's a nerdy thing.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
So the special, I should play the special again. 9:30 p.m. tonight on ABC. When you're working hard on shows, on these either elaborate stunts or, like you said, 7 years of working on putting together kind of this perfect show. What do you think of somebody like Chris Angel that does like I mean, now he's just doing dumb stuff.
I
on
actually,
TV.
I think anybody that works hard and puts whatever they got, I'm never opposed to anybody, and I think there's room for everybody, and I think anybody that works hard, that's good enough for me.
So now, but do you like that there are other people to spread this word of magic, or are you kind of I concentrate on my own thing?
Well, no, I mean, I have a very close knit group of magician friends that are mind blowing, that destroy. They destroy me.
Do we know them?
Well, no. Most of the guys that are really good are so busy practicing that they're not really out there. But there are two guys doing a show called Nothing to Hide. It's Derek Delgado and Helder. It's two friends of mine that are magicians, and the show is in New York right now, and it's like an hour of amazing card magic, but it's mind blowing. So there's lots of good stuff like that out there, and there's lots of incredible magicians.
Who's your favorite reaction from the special tonight? Because obviously for you, it's about the reaction.
It's so hard to say because there's so many different ones. Obviously, the big deal for me was getting Stephen Hawking to react, because they said you can't do anything for him. He's not feeling well, and he's not going to react to you. So even when he just cracked a smile from a simple card thing, I was like, I wanted.
And he did.
Yeah, I almost wanted to cry when that happened. I didn't, obviously, but it was pretty emotional.
And you'd think he's a genius too, so he probably is like. I know.
So he's probably nicer.
He's probably like. Well, that's amazing. Well, you could see all these: Kanye West, Stephen Hawking, George W. Bush. Did you do Bush while he was president or after?
No, it was a few years after.
Okay. Yeah. Now, do you have another elaborate trick coming?
Well, the big thing that I've shied away from forever is building a tour. So the thing that you saw on Jimmy Kimmel was one of the things that's part of the tour.
Oh, so you are doing a tour?
Yeah, I want to go across the country and to really the cool small venues and just start doing a live show, which is harder than anything in the world, I think.
Were you happy with Electrified?
I personally was, but I mean, I think it could be interpreted different ways. But me personally, I was happy that I didn't get lung cancer. Something awful didn't happen from breathing O3 or.
Well, and that's like when people saw it, they're like, he's not going to get electrocuted.
Yeah, it's so
and you're
crazy.
Like,
I was getting shocked the whole time because my legs started expanding and it started ripping through the chainmail. So the entire time I was getting shocked. And then there was no catheter, so I had to hold it in the whole time. So I stopped drinking water.
3 days?
It was the worst, by the way. And then I had to get my mouth up, spit the water out. And an arc of electricity hit the water, went inside, bruised my heart wall, burnt all the way down to my toes. And I was, for 3 months, I couldn't do anything.
Moving forward, I would say that's part of it, like risk assessment. How badly will this hurt me, and how badly does it look like it's hurting? Because it should be more. I think I have it backwards.
Yeah, I think so. I think for sure.
Well, David, thank you so much for hanging out. I'm glad that we got to finally chat outside of. Outside of one of your tricks.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, very cool.
Are you going to watch the show tonight?
Absolutely. I'm sure everybody's going to. It's going to be a huge success.
Well, I don't know. But I mean, I worked really hard, and I think it's fun, and I think it's good.
All right. Well, everybody check it out. Thank you for being here, man.
Thank you, man.
The O&A show continues. Sort of. This is After O&A Live. Stay tuned. Sirius XM. All right. Well, that sucked. To hear the Opie and Anthony show 5 days a week live on satellite radio, online on your phone or tablet, or even on demand, go to SiriusXM.com. Also, interact with the Opie and Anthony show on Twitter, @Opie Radio, @Anthony Cumia, and @Jim Norton.